Hey guys, and welcome to my out-of-box review for the 1:100 scale Double Zeta Gundam. Now this is not a Bandai product. As you can see, this is a redesign, and this model comes from a Japanese third-party manufacturer called BTF, I think formerly Butterfly Models. And basically what they did was they took a resin conversion kit and turned it into a plastic kit. And basically what it was a resin conversion kit for the Master Grade Freedom. Basically you could take the inner frame of the Freedom and then turn it into a very slim and sleek redesigned Double Zeta Gundam. Now personally I don't like how huge and bulky and fat the normal Double Zeta design is. I mean, I do like other bulky kits like the O and things like that, so it's not really about that. It's just the normal design of the Double Zeta just doesn't really suit me. This one I think is really cool. I like the proportions and the details they put onto the kit, and everything is very cool. Of course it does have some kind of strange proportions in some certain areas. We'll take a look at that here in a minute, but overall I think it's a very nice looking kit. I'm not a huge fan of the colors that it's molded in. It's got a lot of nice color separations, especially here, like the yellow and blue like areas around the vents, and then like on the legs and the feet, the tip of the knees. Like that is all pretty good, but it does have some issues which we'll see shortly. So like I said, it is not a Bandai product, so it's got the normal issues that you can expect with third-party or knockoff stuff. Now, speaking of colors, all the inner frame and the backpack is all black, and I think that's not very usual, so it's kind of cool, interesting to see that. Then the reds and blue and yellows are all not really my taste, we'll just say that. I find them a little bit obnoxious. They are very typical Gundam colors, but just not really for me. Before I show you guys a little bit about the articulation, I'll just show you what this kit comes with. Not a lot, but it comes with everything you need. You saw in my unboxing video, we had the water slide decals, but other than that, we've got these two clear pink beam saber effects, and like I said, these are like hard plastic, like you normally see like on kits that have parts that are molded in clear, not like the typical bendy beam saber effect parts. And then we've got the double beam rifle. You put down the handle. There you go. The double beam rifle is also in black with this connection part in blue. And there's the handle there, and then a couple of white details there on the side. This is a really cool, sharp looking design. This is also a great redesign from the original. The original double beam rifle for the Double Zeta Gundam is not really to my liking. This one is much more interesting. So here's how tall you can see it is compared to the kit. It's pretty tall. Not quite as tall as the kit itself, but it's pretty close. It's definitely long. Now there is a notch in the handle that connects with inside the hand there, and it's able to hold that perfectly fine. It works a little bit better if you take off this side part of the arm, so then you can get it there just right. And then once it's on there, you don't even have to close the fingers. Sorry. You don't even have to close the fingers, because it's just going to hold that really solidly on that peg. And there you go. You can see it's holding that just fine. And it can even, let me go ahead and put this up slowly. If you angle it right, it can hold it up See that shoulder joint is drooping down a little bit, but it can hold the weight. You have to tighten that shoulder joint a bit. So let me finish showing you about the rifle, then I'll talk about that. Now, the interesting thing about this rifle is that it does separate. So basically what you can do is just fold that handle back in and then just pull these off. And there's a really nice connection there for these. It works really well, holds them really solidly. You can take those off. And then there's handles in the tops of these. And let me grab my knife, because it's hard to get the handle out. But if we can pull that up like that, then you can pull that handle up, and it's got the same notch, and it holds it also, once again, very securely, but it's an underhand grip. So instead of the gun going on the top like that, it's going to hold it under. Let me pop that on. Alright, so there's that. Sorry, I had to cut away for a minute. That's just holding that under the arm like that, and now it's half the weight, so of course there's going to be no problems holding that up now. And that looks pretty nice, and of course you got the two halves. Stand up. And of course we've got the two halves, so we can put one in each hand, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Now, with this centerpiece that you took off, this actually connects to the back. Oops. Oh, the piece that I need fell off there. This connects to the back on that little tab right there, fits into that center slot. You just pop that in like that, and then it's stored in the back while you can hold the two separated beam rifles. Now for the beam saber blades, the beam sabers are in the knee. Sadly, this knee part is not independently articulated. So like on most master grade kits, like you bend the knee and like the knee armor piece will move separately, but not on this. It's just connected to the lower leg. That's kind of unfortunate, but under here, behind the knee, like the S Gundam or XS Gundam, the beam saber is there. Beam saber handle. It just fits in a groove inside there, and pull that out. There's the handle. You can see it's got the same slot in there that will fit into the hand. Just pop in the beam effect part, and hang on a second. Alright, the one problem is that if you can see that the slot is long, but it's only totally hollow. It only goes through totally only through half. The slot inside the hand is that full length. So what you'll need to do is cut out that part inside there, just to make it so it's the hole goes all the way through for this entire length of that gap. Then you'll be able to put it in the hand solidly like that. And because it's using these are the Freedom's beam saber handles, I think, because it's from the Freedom, they do have this interlocking part at the bottom where you can lock them together. It's not secure at all, but if you took some glue, of course you could make it like that, but as they are now, it's not going to hold together at all. You just have to forget about it, or glue it. So before I talk about the articulation of this kit, I recorded some video while it was just the inner frame, because I wanted to show you guys what the inner frame was like. So take a look at that first. Okay, so here it is. As you can see, it's very thin and pretty simple inner frame, nothing too crazy, too spectacular. The legs, especially the lower part of the legs here, looks really cool. Quite a lot of pieces in there. I've got like the main inner frame part, which is basically kind of like this, like the thigh, where it's just basically two pieces together. and then there's another layer of pieces on the front and back, and there's another layer of pieces there on like the side vents there, and then there's another layer, and then this vents at the top of the lower leg there is another layer. So quite a lot of stuff going on there. They're going to be quite heavy when it's all said and done. The leg can stay out like that now without falling down, but once all the armor's on there, I'm not sure if it's still going to be able to do that. The feet look pretty cool. For now, there is a piston here in the back, but that ankle joint doesn't really move all that much, only about that much. You do get more movement in the ball joint, so it's like a double ball joint there. It's just the top one doesn't move much more in the bottom, and then the toes do move as well, so you can get a good downward pointing angle there, up about that far, so that's pretty good. The knees, of course not all the armor is on yet, so we'll have to check that, but so far getting a really nice bend. That's not even all the way there. There we go. So you can see it bends really far, because right now the thigh is actually fitting between these two vents. Now once all the armor is on there, I don't think it's gonna still be able to do that, because it's just barely fitting in there now. And just in terms of the quality of the construction so far, the plastic is a little bit soft, yeah, but everything stays together really well. The only things that I've had trouble with so far is here, these pieces for the elbow joint. It's a top and bottom piece, and then there's these two pieces for the joint sandwiched together. And when I was bending that, you can see they come apart like that. So you just like press them together and you bend it, they just come apart. So that's kind of a problem. I'm gonna have to either put some glue in that joint between the two pieces without getting glue on the parts that are supposed to move, or just kind of do a little bit of modifying, cleaning up the fit of that so that it fits better. But shoulder armor is nice. As you can see, the articulation is pretty good. It gets up there pretty high, and if those parts don't come apart, the bend is really good at the elbow. And the hands are actually really nice. Hands I was a bit worried about after those Tallgeese hands, which were really terrible. I guess these are a simpler version of master grade hands. Oh no, that came out too. There's going to be an armor piece to cover that, so that won't happen, but when the armor's not there, that can come out. But anyway, yeah, the hands are nice, solid. Let's see, that's coming off. So yeah, that elbow joint is bad, but everything else so far is looking pretty good. As you can see, the head is very long, and it looks kind of strange, but from the front, I think it looks good. Anyway, now back to the regular review. Okay, so now let's take a look at what's changed about the articulation now that the armor is on. And, well, the good news, the big problem I had with the articulation while it was just an inner frame, the big problem was in the elbow joints. That is solved now because this white part is going on, fits over that joint a bit, so it helps to hold those parts together. The problem now is here in the shoulder. When you move around the arm a lot, it starts to wiggle the shoulder out of the polycap where it's connected, and it just bloop, falls out so easily. So luckily this part that goes over the top is just connected on the back here. Sorry, I'm trying to let you guys see this very clearly. And let's just take off the backpack. That part is very easy to pop off, luckily. It's secure, but very easy to take off when you need it to. And then, as you can see, which I hope you can see, there's just a polycap inside of there. and this part just fits down onto that polycap like this. Just press it down and then the arm's on there. But so any wiggling and it just comes back up and off. So what can you do about that? I'm not sure. Basically you just have to be careful, because you could put like a piece of plot plate in there to cover that, to keep that part down, but then you lose the ability to move the arm up like that. If you're not worried about that, then I'd say that'd be an easy solution. But otherwise it's definitely a problem and very frustrating. The other thing is that just under the armpit there's this piece which is off, because it always comes off. It just sticks in under the peg, under the arm, and it's just like a detail part there, and basically that just comes off very easily too, because when you're moving the arm around, it just hits that and it just knocks it out slowly and just falls out really easily. Now the other thing you've seen obviously is that these parts on the side of the arm, come off also very easily, but those are not a big deal to just glue on when you're finished painting the kit. And other than that, those are basically the parts that are falling off. See, there goes this small piece on the other side, just fell off again too. And this arm's coming off now, and that came off. So as you can see, just be prepared for a waterfall of parts coming off if you're just an out-of-box builder. When I go to paint and do everything to this kit, it'll be fine, I'm sure. And the backpack does stay on just fine, because there's really not a whole lot to it. It's pretty small, simple. I just want to show you guys a look at the backpack here, because it is really cool, really interesting. For the thrusters inside there, they've basically just copied Bandai's, what are those, like the HD extra builder's parts of the thrusters. Those are just copied in there, and they're black, so I'm trying to show you guys. I don't know how well you can see that, but I hope you can see it. These, which are the Double Zeta's beam sabers, are not, and they do come off like this, but the beam effect parts don't fit in there. All you'd have to do is just drill out that hole a little bit, make it a little bit bigger, and you could stick those in there. And maybe I will, but then they won't fit securely on here, so I don't know, you can make that peg a little larger too if you want to go through that much work. But otherwise, yeah, the articulation now is basically the same as when it had the inner frame on there. Ultimately, nothing is very hindered by the armor being on. The knee, we're still getting a really nice bend there in the knee. The ankle is still pretty good, still getting a nice pointed down there. On the back of the leg, got a little bit of motion in this part here. It does move up and down a little bit, just a little, and that's basically it. This side skirt, let's move that arm out of the way. That side skirt does move. That fin there does move, and the fin's of course on the side of the arm. But that is about it. Sadly, in the backpack there's no missile pod in here where there should be, that should open up to show a missile pod inside there. That's gone. Oh well, I don't know. Like I said, the accessories for this kit are minimal, and these keep popping off too, but once again, these you'll just glue when you're finished with the kit. Just glue them on. The accessories are minimal. You basically just got the beam effect parts and the rifles, but that's good enough. Okay, and just a couple more bits. The cockpit does not open, and the head, what I mentioned before about odd proportions, The head is what a lot of people have been pointing out about this kit that is very strange. First of all, as you can see, there's no sticker for the eyes, and that's just red, so you'll definitely have to do some painting there, but it's the length of the head that's very strange. As you can see, it's very odd looking. I think you could see it better when all the armor was off. And now it's not so bad once it's all put together. I think it looks okay. It's very reminiscent of like a Gundam Central head, like the FAS or even the XS, because the XS has the INS head there. But it's different, but it's not that bad, I think. I thought it would look more strange, but actually once the kit's all together, that's really not very noticeable at all. I think really the thing that you're going to be noticing more is just like the huge long legs and those really long knee parts and like the fins and like stuff, shoulders pointing out, this stuff pointing out the top. All that kind of stuff is the stuff that you're really going to be, that's going to be catching your eyes, and not the very weird head. So there it is, guys. That's probably the pose that I'm going to stick with for mine. I'm really looking forward to getting this kit all painted and looking nice and glued together where it needs to be. But yeah, I think overall it's got its problems. It is from a third-party company. I mean, it's not Bandai, so you kind of know what to expect. Overall, is it a bad kit? No, I don't think so. I think it's a really very unique, interesting design, a really cool take on the ZZ Gundam. I really like what they've done. And if you're willing to put a little work into it, it could be perfectly fine. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of glue here and there, just a little bit of patience, and of course some paint and all that kind of stuff, but I think it's probably worth it. For price of $35 plus shipping and handling, it's really not bad to get a nice big kit like this. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and one last thing, guys, I'm sorry I always forget to do this, but here's a comparison to another 1/100 scale kit. Here is the Master Grade Hainu version Ka, and as you can see, it's very similar in height. They're almost about the same height. The ZZ is a little bit taller, and it's definitely got a little bit more width with its shoulders being out like that. But of course the version Ka is just going to be looking much more bulky in certain areas, I think. But anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.